Hello everybody and welcome back to Juno New Origins, where we are currently working on putting this incredibly heavy module into the space station. And where is the space station right now? Select Spaceport Esperanza. There we go. So this is our closest approach, 13 meters per second, 1.55 kilometers. Okay, so we should probably warp forward a little ways here. So this is about 2 minutes away from our closest approach, and I'm wondering, where's our retrograde marker at right now? So I want to be in target mode. There it is. Okay. So I want to move over to velocity retrograde, and I'm actually going to warp us forward a little bit to have this go in a lerp instead of in the physical mode. There we go. And then I want to move this over a little bit because I want to do a bit of corrective steering here. So it's going to be out over about here or so. Cool. And you can see this is getting closer, and the relative speed is going down, which is fine, but I want to move out over here and have that correction come in a little bit more. Okay. So we're only about 7 meters per second apart right now, but I want to be able to see the actual node here. Okay. That started to go back up. Yes, it did. So that means that we need to warp in closer again. Okay. So back over this direction, we're now 902 meters out, moving at 5 meters per second relative to each other. And we're going to continue to burn this. Note that I'm not burning at full speed right now. This is starting to move again, so let's go ahead and warp in a bit. There we go. We're now only 4 meters per second apart, so let's actually warp into about here. So at this point, we can see we're pretty close. Let's actually close the map here, and we can see that the spaceport is right up over there. Excellent. So I would like to continue to alter our trajectory here. We're still at reasonably far ways off, right? So we need to push this node quite a bit here. We're only 1 meter per second apart at this time. Okay, so somewhere around here, but we need to move this guy right on down to here. Okay, we're now at 0 meters per second. At this point, I'm going to point at target. And let's get ourselves a little bit closer. So I'm going to burn us in over this direction. I want to pull this node over. And a little up. Okay, it's a little too up. We're traveling at only 1 meter per second right now. And we definitely want to do another small correction here. So I'm going to put us on locked mode. I want to bring this over here. It's very difficult to actually have ourselves positioned correctly here because this is such a heavy payload. I mean, we could use monoprop for that, I suppose. Okay, something like that. Now I want to lock to target. These are not quite identical, but they're pretty close. So if we look here, we can see our closest approach is actually 32 meters. You know what? Let's move to anti-target then. That is definitely close enough. 32 meters will do the trick. That's about 3 minutes out as of right now, and we will make our way over. How are we doing on battery charge? 60? Not bad. Okay. So I'm just going to warp us to about here. There we go. And I want to bring down... Actually want to be on velocity retrograde. I want to bring down our speed here. Down to virtually 0. It's currently 2. 1. Okay, this isn't exactly 0, but it's pretty close. Okay, we'll call that decent. Okay, so for right now, while we work on getting that down, where do we want to attach this? We could attach it here. We could attach it to one of these locations out this way. Either of those, in theory, could work. In theory. But I'm not sure if that's actually what we want. Okay, I'm just working on... There we go. That's basically idle at this point. Not quite, but it's very, very close. So we could attach it here or the other side. We could attach it here, or we could attach it here. What do we want to do? I'm thinking maybe this docking port. So then we would want to lock target. And that'll be fine for now. And then, of course, we want the station to get lined up for that. This is nice and inline here, but the station is not going to be inline. Okay, let's freeze those physics. There we go. Something along the lines of that. Okay, so now I want to set target here. And we're going to need to turn ourselves a bit here. So this is the target vector, but what we actually want is we want to get this lined up with the target vector, right? So we're going to need to change our roll here. And the roll will have to come around over this direction. I have no idea what this indicator is. That's interesting. Okay, lock this current heading. We are definitely struggling to do this. We may need to have monoprop for this. Okay, monoprop on. And then you, I'm going to turn monoprop on for as well. And you're just locked to current heading. So for now, that's reasonably fine. Now what we need to do is we need to get this frozen. Approximately frozen. Okay, just sit here for now. So what I want to do is I want to get this lined up so that we are setting our heading to be somewhere around here or so. And then our pitch should be probably about like 0. That's not actually changing anything because we're locked to this heading, right? So that's understood. And at this point, we're going to need to change our roll somewhat. So let's get that going. This is the wrong direction. Can we roll the other way, please? Thank you. I really wish we could just set our forward vector to be this port, like in KSP. That would make things so much simpler. Okay, so let's just get this lined up over this way a bit. So we need to have this be lined up about like that on this axis. Okay. That's maybe a little too much. Let's pull it back slightly. So that would be this direction. About like that. Okay. Hold here. I'm going to freeze the physics. And there we go. Okay, now we want to point at target. So we'll lock target. Go into target mode. Okay. So we're going to be coming in at a slightly awkward angle here. I think that's very, very clear. I'm going to move us up this way. I know that we've overshot currently, but we're going to head in very, very gently over this way. This is so heavy. There's so much momentum here. We're not even at 1 meter per second yet. Okay. Well, for now, that's fine. I want to change our roll a little bit here. Specifically, I want to move it not that way, but the other way. Why are we moving so much? Just lock the current heading. All I told it to do was roll a little bit. I don't know where it got all of this movement from. That's insane. It's trying. It's definitely trying. And this is with monoprop on as well. Okay. Freezing physics. Then let's try to roll this again. Not that way, but we need to roll the other direction. So out this direction. What we want is for this to be roughly in line here. So something kind of like this, although we've overshot it a bit. Kind of like that. Once again, we're overshooting, though. This thing has a lot of mass, and it's very hard to get it lined up exactly where we want to be because our forward vector doesn't get updated. Okay, let's just put it right about there. Now, get up to a pitch of 60, and that should put us basically right on where we're trying to go, but we're going to need to change our heading a little bit here, I think. Yeah, there we go. That's right on where we want it to be. Which is basically exactly at target. Then we're going to have to actually accelerate up a little bit. And get our vector in here. Okay, that's 1 meter per second. Now what I'm trying to do is use monoprop to do some steering changes. But it's difficult. This thing is so heavy. I don't know that this is going to be functional in the slightest. Our vector is so far off at this point. I'm trying to change the steering with monoprop, but it is not going well. And because we can't actually angle this, we're going to impact like that. And we're trying to hold this position. Let's just lock this heading, hold right here. If we can do that, that would be fine. We now need to rotate this guy in this direction, turn off holding the heading. No, not this direction, this way. There's so much lag time to this. Okay, so we're going to rotate it like this, but we built up a bunch of momentum, and we have to counteract that momentum now. So we're going to push it, I think. We didn't quite, but it was very close. Okay. Just get us into this position here. There we go. Just hold here, please. Okay. Now I want to point at this target. So, nothing is happening. Oh, the game is paused now. That's weird. I want to be pointed at the target. And our monoprop does very little to actually alter our trajectory. So that's noted. As we come around here, we're going to want to freeze those physics. There we go. And now I want to burn towards the target here. But we have to eyeball all of this. That's the unfortunate thing. Okay, so now we're going to come in again. And I want to just pull this out over this direction to try to counteract that as much as possible. About there. And let's go ahead and lock ourselves to target. Okay. Now this guy is going to be a little bit awkward. Yeah, we're overshooting at this point. What are you doing? Why are you rotating like this? Don't do that. Stop it. Lock current heading. Why is it rotating like this? I did not tell it to do that. That's insane. Why? Why has it done this? Okay, well, we need to change our designated pitch to be like out over here, right? But yeah, I have no idea why this just moved out of the way like that. No, we want it to collide. That's how this works. Not here, though. We don't want it to collide here. So this is very irritating when you have docking ports that are not directly in line. Now, to be clear, we could dock to this port. I would rather not, though. That's an option, but I'd really, really, really rather not. So at this point, of course, things are a little bit pear-shaped. We need this port here to be lined up with this port, which would be very easy to do if we could just make this be the forward-facing vector, but we can't. So to that end, we're going to need to, once again, try to eyeball it, and hopefully... Okay, just hold this position, please. We're going to have to try to eyeball it, and hopefully this time it won't just start randomly moving in a really strange way. Like, the gyroscope's clearly activated for some reason, and I don't know what that reason is. But the mass of all of this is so high that it's very, very difficult for us to actually get this lined up the way we want it to be. I'm trying to determine here what way we would need to go. It's hard without knowing the correct forward vector here, but I believe we would need to go this way. No. That's apparently, from this perspective, that's pitch. Okay. Well, just hold this position for now. And I want to change our overall vector here to be roughly parallel with this, right? So I want to change us to out over here, and that changed us to there, which should be approximately correct, in theory. Okay. I'm going to freeze physics here. And now we're going to go back. We're going to point at the target. There we go. And we can definitely see that we are going to need a fair amount of additional roll here. So let's get our roll lined up. That's going to be coming down this direction somewhat to about here or so. Let's un-overshoot that a little bit. Okay, now we overshoot the un-overshooting. Perfect. And we'll put it about there. Okay, just hold attitude. Cool. Now, we're going to need to head in towards this. And I want to change our overall pitch a little bit here. Yep, exactly like that. Okay, we can see that vector coming in. We're going to need to change our positioning to be up over here. About like this. To get those vectors pretty much together. Okay. Now we're going to need to set our heading and our pitch. So let's do that over here. So heading goes there, pitch goes there. I'm not using these tools, and I can see that the roll is not set up correctly over here anymore. That's unfortunate. We're going to have some overshoot there, but that's understood. So let's see about getting this roll set up correctly to about here or so. There we go. This is just such a heavy payload that it's really, really hard to make the correct adjustments. However, this is looking semi-reasonable at this point. Except that this roll is far overshot. It doesn't seem to try to hold attitude on the roll here, which is very, very strange to me. I don't know why, but it definitely doesn't seem to want to hold attitude on that roll. Okay, just hold here. We are missing. Because we weren't able to, we had to hold the roll and we had to alter this at the same time, which you can't do. That's not a possible thing to do. The fact that we can't change the forward vector here is sad. But we do apparently have some magnetic force happening here. It's trying to dock right now. So I'm going to hop over to here. And I'm going to move us over to about here. This is going to push this, though, because we're in contact right now. Okay. So now what we need to do is we need to come in here, right? And we need to get this lined up as well. But how do you do that at the same time? That's the question. It's very, very tough to do this because you need to line up the correct roll when you have one of these lateral ports. You need to line up the correct roll, which apparently doesn't hold attitude. And then you also need to adjust with your RCS on the way in here. It's very, very complicated. Okay, for now, I'm going to go to the spaceport Esperanza. I'm going to clear the target. I'm going to have this point at target. And I'm going to try to get the spaceport Esperanza set up manually, I guess. Okay, but this is going to overshoot because this is such a heavy payload. But as you can see, we're just setting our pitch here this way. And I cleared the target in hopes that, because I noticed that sometimes when we make changes here, it makes changes to both ships, which is also kind of insane. But let's put this at about a pitch of 30 degrees or so. And I want to set our pitch to here, and we're going to want to set our heading about there. That should be correct. And go into target mode. Okay, something kind of like that. We're going to try this again. Now, the roll isn't correct, and that's understood. I'm going to come in much more slowly this time. I'm trying to use RCS to get us into position. Let's align to target. And I'm using monoprop. Okay, it just disappeared on us because we're going too slowly. That's fine. For now, I want to change this significantly. We're going to need to be at like 60 degree pitch or 70 degree pitch, and our roll is going to have to change a lot as well. So we're going to need to roll out over here. We need to roll more. About like that. Okay, let's just get this semi-lined up. I think this is too much on the pitch. Let's bring this down to about a 50 degree pitch. But now we have a lot of momentum built up. So it's going to take some time to get that back into position. Okay, let's do it this way. About like that. Okay, so with that in position there, now I want to get this roll. Actually, the roll's kind of close. So let's lock ourselves to the target. Be in target mode here. And we want to burn towards the target here. We're overshooting this, of course. That's okay for now. Okay, so we're heading into target, and now I am steering us a little bit with our monoprop. There we go. We're roughly where we need to be there. These controls are inverted, so that's slightly awkward, but it should be fine. I think we might have it this time. That took way too many attempts, but it's really awkward when you're trying to dock to one of these side ports like this. Really, really awkward. For multiple reasons. For many, many multiple reasons. Okay, we're just keeping our positioning here. And you can see this jittering around. That's due to floating point. That's fine. Okay. It got a lot more solid there. That's interesting. But currently we're on a good trajectory. Just making very slight modifications here and there. I think we may finally have this lined up. This is such a heavy payload, though, and it's caused us so many problems. The next payload should go much, much more smoothly. Okay, let's, hang on. Did we just dock? No. We're slightly off on our angle here. So what we need to do is we need to move this guy this way a little bit. We just pushed apart, and now the magnetic force is pulling us back together. We should be docking shortly. We got to 15% docking there before the magnetic force pushed us apart again. And now we're overshooting over this way. Okay, we just have to get this lined up here. We're well lined up. We just need to get the correct angle here for this to dock. Again, this would not be a problem if we could change the forward vector, but whatever. There we go. We are docked. Okay. At long last. So what we need to do now, of course, is we need to detach the deployer here. So this is going to be interesting. Because we don't appear to have the ability to deploy this, to actuate this part. Can we do it via the staging system? Well, these payloads are all here. I'm going to make a save here. So I'm going to save flight. And now we need to go in here to the space station, resume this. Previously, this automatically deployed when we docked, but this didn't happen this time. So that's awkward. We could try to blow it up. That might destroy the whole station, which is why I made the save. We could also try to actuate it through the staging. So I just staged, cannot set target. I just staged again. We're at the end of our staging. So apparently this isn't a thing. If we blow this up, I guess that worked. Okay. Because yeah, that's exactly where this is supposed to go. So there's a docking port there, and this guy then we would set to retrograde. Why is it still using the monoprop from here? What? Okay. That's very strange. That's very, very strange. Okay. So, these parts should not be being controlled by that. The command pod controlling this part is the Radix module. Okay, so at this point, there's probably a way to switch the command. I'm pretty sure that there is. or it might just change over. But this is going to be interesting. This whole space station has been pretty buggy, and I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen when we destroy this part, because this part has to be destroyed for the contract. So that is definitely going to be a question. Hang on, I want to check something. Okay, I'm changing us around. It's no longer firing this. Okay, so that's good. We've locked velocity retrograde, which is right on the station, so we need to give this some distance, which I'm going to do. We're going to do something kind of like that. And now we can deorbit. But it is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to have this guy deorbit, and we'll also come back with this contract completed, because that needs to be done externally, of course, because this whole thing is just horribly buggy. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Andy McGar, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Hiro Marutsu, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.